What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 38 of the Game Bowl Podcast, the official podcast of thegamebowl.com, where we post to iTunes every Tuesday and YouTube every Wednesday. And this is your weekly dose of lightning in a bottle. And joining me this week is, for the first time ever, the international man of mysteries overseas, Ryan Jones. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
Hey.
It's a pleasure to have you on here.
It's great to be finally here.
Yeah, this is the first podcast, and the man with a lot of thoughts on a certain game gets to talk about those shortly, and very excited to have you. And also joining is none other than the mightiest of men, Cody Gibson.
I thought Grant called me the mega-ist of men. That's fine.
Honestly, I don't know.
Brett's
Grant's not
the
here,
same,
so
yeah.
it's a new show.
Well, you know
We're doing-
what's going to be different this episode?
What's that?
No.
Oh, thank the Lord! Soundboard.
Yeah, no soundboard. So, audio listeners,
Please.
yeah,
The soundboard.
that's going to be good.
All
All right. Well, anyway.
Why Ryan's picture is Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything else to.
That's brilliant.
That's so good.
No toad in the hole, though.
No, I figured that
Uh,
might be taking it a little too far. So.
Anyways, why don't we start off with what we're playing? Ryan, since you are our first-time guest, why don't you talk about what you're playing?
Well, right now I'm playing Star Wars Battlefront. I'm actually reviewing it for the Game Bowl right now. It's quite strange, really, because I'm reviewing it, and yet I'm not a huge player of multiplayer,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a fan of Star Wars, but I'm not like a huge nerd with it, like a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch it as a kid. I only watched it like a few years ago. What's blasphemy, I know. but I'm really enjoying the game. It's really addictive. I can't stop playing it. It was really bad for my university course. But the gameplay is really solid. One thing that really surprised me is how good the servers are, because
Oh, yeah.
EA are bloody awful at the servers. Almost any game I play them, if it's SimCity,
Just you saying
FIFA.
that surprises me.
Yeah. but I haven't had any issues with Battlefront on the server wise. In fact, even when you're having your own internet crisis, it tells you in a little corner, and it still isn't that bad. But the game, it has quite a few fun game modes, especially taking down the AT-Ts on the
Walker Assault.
Yeah, the Walker Assault, that's it. That's really fun. Especially when you get in the spaceships and tie them up in rope and knock them over. That's really fun.
Oh, yeah. I'm thoroughly surprised how much I've enjoyed. How much I'm enjoying it. I've been playing it through EA Access, and it might have like a few hours left of the trial. And I was skeptical because I was a huge fan of the original Battlefronts. Like, they're probably some of my favorite games ever. I put so much time into them, and I was like, I don't know. I can't really trust DICE doing a new Battlefront. It's just the way Battlefield 4 went, and just, the way it was received, because it was, dreadful at launch, and then Hardline has gotten some controversy and has had some issues. But, it's a really sound game, and, like, I'm impressed because, like, the sound design is fantastic. Oh my goodness. Like, when I was a kid playing the original Battlefront, it's like, oh, and then, I was playing on Hall, I was like, this is it. Like, this is so awesome. And now it's, because technology has advanced and you have more capabilities with these consoles, it sounds even better. Like, like the way the blasters sound and
Oh yeah.
everything to it. The Hoth is just covered in white, massive. There's just so much to do, venturing through the ice caves. It's a really sound game, and unfortunately, I was kind of thrown aback by the lack of single player. 'Cause like you, I'm not the biggest multiplayer person, but I think I'm enjoying this more because it is Star Wars, and I find that more accessible because I had that connection. I'm like, oh, like, this is this is awesome. I'm much more inclined to play this than a regular military shooter in Battlefield or something, because it's Star Wars and you get to be Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker and you get to pilot an X-wing. There's all these little touches, and there's a lot of stuff there. Game mode wise, how do you feel about the alleged lack of maps or anything like that?
Well, I think that is the biggest flaw of the game, to be honest. Like, I'm happy with it just being multiplayer based because there's this huge market for multiplayer only games. Like you had Evolve recently, earlier this year. I think Titanfall was all multiplayer as well. But the issue with it is if you're going to be all multiplayer, you need to have more content to compensate for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think that Battlefront has enough maps or even customization on your guns and stuff. Just doesn't have enough content to justify £50, £40 of a game.
Mm-hmm.
And the DLC pass is $50 on top of that. So you're paying double for the full game, basically. Because this doesn't feel like a full game. This feels like a starter pack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't grown tired of like, oh, here we go, like playing on Hoth again. Like I haven't reached that phase yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if I do eventually reach that point. I'm like, I want something new to play, but I don't want to spend $50 on 16 new map packs that are going to come out in 3-month cycles or whatever, however long they come out. I was playing the very minimal the split screen, I guess, with a friend, and we, you can play against each other. And I was kind of disappointed, just like it was essentially like a 3-on-3 or a 4-on-4. And I get it's a multiplayer game, but like you could only have 4, one human and then 3 or 4 more computers on a team. Like I was a bit thrown off by that. I wasn't the biggest fan of that. But it's still I'm really enjoying it. I'm just sitting there like I'm like, man, I'm playing Star Wars Battlefront again. I haven't touched all the game modes yet. I've played a bit of Walker Assault, and it's one of those things where I just need to play it more to like understand its intricacies more and get a feel for how you succeed or what's the best strategy and such. The name is slipping me, but just a straight air game mode where you pilot ships and that's all you do, like the air combat.
Yeah. Oh, what's it called? Flight Squadron or something?
I think so. Fighter Squadron.
Flight Squadron, I think so.
Yeah, that's a really fun mode. I mean, I often my butt kicked, but it's it's so cool to use an X-wing or a TIE Interceptor. I think it's fascinating, but if you're a fan of Star Wars, like you should definitely play this game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a really solid shooter. Unfortunately, it does lack content, which I'm still upset about. But overall, like it is true to Star Wars in a number of ways.
But quickly going back to the couch multiplayer, did you play survival mode?
Yes, actually, I actually really enjoyed that.
I really loved that, and like especially now games are refusing to do couch multiplayer. Like even Halo 5 was a bit of a shock; didn't have any couch multiplayer. Star Wars offered that's one of the best elements of the whole game. I think playing with friends, fighting against wave after wave, and if you put up the difficulty, it is actually a challenge.
Oh my god, yeah, we. My buddy and I, we put it on a Hoth, I think, on whatever the lowest difficulty is. Like, this isn't really tough, and we didn't lose any lives. And then we put it on Tatooine on, I think, Master, whatever the highest difficulty is, and we got our butts kicked within the first, like, 2 rounds, because, right away they send these, more powerful troopers, and they send, like, the shield stormtroopers, and it's like, oh, God, those alone take a long time to kill, and, sending 2 or 3 at the same time, and they're attacking one target. It's like, well, good luck getting out of that.
Yeah, that was great fun. But I mean, it comes back to the same content thing. There's only 4 different maps for survival mode. And it's so fun, but you can complete them quite quickly, if you're good enough, obviously, because it is really hard. But
yeah, I mean, I'm more upset with the lack of maps in multiplayer than I would be in survival mode. I think survival mode is just a fun little touch there. Like, I'm not, going to devote the most time to that. If friends over, we'll play that and it'll be fun, but I'm not going to, I'm not going to put more than 70% of the time into that. Like, I'm just there for the multiplayer. But Cody, what are you playing?
Hello. I am playing Final Fantasy. By the way, I was almost like half asleep there.
Oh.
Final Fantasy 14. I was
The
going to
greatest
say
game of all
XIV, but go ahead.
It's the greatest game of all time.
It is. It's pretty fun.
It's so good.
These guys roped me back into it. No, I planned on playing it, but just, I don't know. I didn't have any ambition to, where I already had a level 50 character. And, I'm not a big fan of playing MMOs by myself. So, I just figured, well, I'll wait. And then John got back into it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get into it. And then Brett was playing on a trial account with John. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get into it. So we've been goofing around on that lately. Yeah, I mean, I got Heaven's Ward, the expansion today. Can't access any of it because I didn't realize.
Right.
Yeah, there's quests.
Is it the 3.1 patch?
What about it?
Like, is it a the 3.1 patch, whatever it's called, like a big patch that recently came out that adds new content?
I don't know. There, was it? So goes the light, or as goes the light, so goes the darkness.
So goes darkness.
That wasn't it. But when you download Heaven's, or when you apply Heaven's Ward to your account, it makes you download like a 4 gig update, and I guess all of maybe the area that you unlock is in that. And I'm assuming like restrictions like flying mounts and stuff like that are kind of in that too. Or maybe like textures and stuff they don't give you, I have no idea. But the last time I played was, for anyone who actually knows, I think around the time like Esper, or not Esper, Leviathan was added as a raid fight. I quit playing around then, which was around like patch, I think 2.0. And then, so I missed patches 2.1 through 2.5, and they added new main missions in there, like 30 or 40 of them.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't realize, because they said just beat the main campaign, and I'm like, okay, like I've already done that. But they added more missions, so I can't actually even access, like, the Heaven's Ward DLC until I beat all of those. So that's going to take me like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, there's still so much to do. Yeah, I've been playing that as well, and I've always been reluctant to get into MMOs. I've dabbled with World of Warcraft. I think maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and I get why people like it, but I was just so overwhelmed. Like, if I see someone with a quest, I want to go get that quest, and I want to, get that task done, whether it be for an item or money or experience. And there was so much going on, and so much to take in at once. I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, I don't understand any of this stuff. I don't understand the backstory of a character I choose, and I probably could have devoted more time to it. And I had a friend who was into it, but I wasn't crazy about it. I think I played for like a week or two. But the reason I like Final Fantasy 14 the most is because it is Final Fantasy, and I understand characters or summons like Leviathan and Bahamut and Esper, because I've played every Final Fantasy before this one, so I'm a huge fan of the series. So I felt like it was so accessible for me, and I think it also helps that it is on console. Like, I'm playing on PS4, and the fact that I can play with you and John, and I've probably asked like 600 questions. Oh, what is this? A button do? Like, how do I do this? How do I go do that? And you guys are just you've been there to just answer questions, and I'm slowly picking up things as I go along. Each time I play, I learn something new about the button layout, and how to properly do a dungeon or something, and I'm getting into that like feeling. I'm like, man, this game really is fun, and I just completed my Lancer Guildmaster storyline, and it was pretty interesting for like an MMO storyline, and I was surprised because I always had this unfair assumption that MMOs just didn't really have a story to them, but I mean they're there. You just gotta go out and look for them. You just have to pay attention to them, And Final Fantasy 14's main story too is I'm there's a lot I still have to do. There's probably still so much of the main story I have to go through, but from what I've played, I'm it's an interesting story, and I understand why I'm in this area talking to these people and doing these tasks. It's just a really sound game. I was wanting to get into it for a long time. I just, games kept piling up and other obligations were there first. And after I deal with, the Bloodborne DLC, I'm, going to get back into it and just probably devote my time for the next few months. I mean, if I get into more, probably for a while. Like I hope to get hooked on it like I was with Destiny. And because it's Final Fantasy, I'm like, I'm much more inclined to play this, and the fact that I just got a new job in the Dragoon class, like it's I've always been a fan of the class throughout Final Fantasy, and it's so cool that I can be a Dragoon now. But I think it's just a really sound MMO that I'm really glad I'm playing it.
Yeah, a lot of MMOs have come and gone, like, well, maybe not gone yet, but like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XI and Guild Wars 2, and it takes a lot of like aspects of those and puts them together. Final Fantasy XI being on console, like it was on PS2 and Xbox 360.
Yeah.
They clearly knew what they were doing when it came to like putting this on console. Using a controller is really, really simple. I mean, I think a lot of people, even on PC, prefer the crossbar system with a controller to mouse and keyboard, which is crazy. So, yeah, they've done a good job just from an MMO sense. Not even that doesn't even count like all of the throwbacks and stuff they put in for Final Fantasy like series fans, which is really cool. So
I love all the little touches they have.
yeah, it's pretty fun.
DJ Rift says, I've never been an MMO player, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's something if you're into it, more power to you, and if you're willing to try it and it's not for you, then it's not for you, but at least you give it a try. And that's how I was with World of Warcraft. But now I'm like, I'm somewhat invested in Final Fantasy 14. I'm fully ready to just play that exclusively for the next however long.
Yeah, I've never really entered the MMO world either. I had the demo for a trial for World of Warcraft, and I became seriously addicted to that. And I realised that if I did actually subscribe to it, that would be all my money gone because I'd just be playing it all the time. But
yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I can't even imagine when I was like 10 years, I probably would have been crazy about World of Warcraft, but now I'm like, I just because I was a big Warcraft fan back then. I'm like, not really anymore. So I'm much more inclined to try a different MMO than WoW.
The one thing I've never understood is, I don't know if this is kind of off topic or not, but a lot of people don't really care for like monthly subscriptions when it comes to MMOs. Like they'll completely disregard a game because of that.
Yeah, that's how it was for a while.
I understand that stance just because of the fact like a lot of people buy games like. I mean, let's say, for example, me, if I had that stance, I bought Metal Gear Solid 5 and put, maybe, I think 40 hours into it, and I haven't touched it since. But yet, a game and that was $60 downright, right when I got it, I put down 60. But yet, Final Fantasy is, 14 is $15 subscription, 13 if you get the lowest tier. But that's $13 a month. I mean, in the end, you're paying $60 for the game 4 months in, and you still don't have to pay that $60, and you're getting the experience of a full game. I mean, you could unreasonably, but still possible, you could still beat the game in a month. Like you could, if you played that game every day, you could finish the main quest of Final Fantasy XIV in a month, and that's $15. And you played a very in-depth, highly detailed and high-quality game for $15.
And there's still the dungeons and raids and guild levies and or guild hests and level melees and all that stuff too.
Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
I think the problem with subscriptions is that when you subscribe, you feel guilty if you're not playing it.
Yeah, I understand.
So you need to keep. But if you just buy one straight away, then you forget about it, even though you're probably paying more money by paying £50 up front. You don't feel as guilty as not keeping with the game. Yeah. Because I don't seem to. I've never really found a game to persuade me to do a monthly subscription yet. But say if The Last of Us, for instance, just for some reason to go serial and do a monthly subscription, I would definitely do it. So it just depends on which game looks you. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is a weird stance because at one point I was on the fence for like I was saying when I was 10 and I wanted to play World of Warcraft. Obviously I couldn't afford like $15 a month as a 10-year-old. But even a couple years ago I was like, I don't really want to play pay $15 a month for a game. But really, if you're into that game and that's all you play, it seems like you really get your bang for your buck there. I mean, you get a month to you can play the game for a month and there's so much to do. If we're talking hour wise, you get paid $60 for like a 10-hour story driven game, like that's great too. But $15 and you get this 40 to 50 hour also fleshed out story on top of all these other social experiences that I feel like you maybe couldn't find in that single player game. And it is definitely maybe a kind of a preference. You're reluctant to spend those $15, but I could totally see your feelings on that, Cody. How you don't understand why people are reluctant.
It's not
to
so
spend
much
$15.
It's not so much spending the money. It's like
the idea of it.
Yeah, finding out it's paid monthly payment and just completely turning the other way. Like no way, not touching it until it goes free. Like I don't understand that because I mean. I don't know. I've played Guild Wars 2 is the only MMO I can think of that went free to play and is totally justified. It has crazy quality. They keep up with it a lot. I don't know how they do that game free to play because there's so many features, but yet I don't know.
Didn't Elder Scrolls abandon their monthly payment?
Yeah, it's now like a one-time payment, like a standard retail game.
Yeah.
And then you can spend money on gear if you want to, but
a lot of people up front when the game came out and when it was in beta, when people had early access, people were like, "There's no way this will last." You know what I mean? And I mean, people had that. A lot of people, a majority of people had that mindset. But I mean, if you were to play, this more or less goes to Brett. If you were to play Final Fantasy XIV, you can understand that, there's so much quality there.
Oh, yeah.
That, paying $60 for a game like that's a steal. And like I said, if you were to just pay flat out, just 60 and that was it. That's like I said with Guild Wars. I don't know how they do free to play when you just it's one flat rate you pay.
And it's one of the bigger MMOs, right?
Yeah, and you only pay $20 I think now for the game, and then it's full scale like vanilla World of Warcraft size. It's crazy, and they still do patches and there's content expansions and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess, like I said, I don't understand. I can understand not wanting to pay $15 a month. I mean, that's completely based on your time and your preferences. I understand that, but like I said, a lot of people have that that mindset of I won't even look at it until it goes free to play. I won't even check it out, and I just don't understand that mindset. But
I think it's a foreign concept for console gamers particularly, because in the future I could easily see games like Destiny abandoning the pay straight up, and I could see them doing a subscription because they have so much content and expansion packs coming in. But I could easily see them adopting the subscriptions back in the future. But for now, I think people are too resistant as a console because they're not used to it.
Yeah.
Right, that'd be interesting. Michael says the problem I had was when Elder Scrolls Online was $60 plus the monthly subscription. Yeah,
and like I said, a lot of people had that problem. Like the majority of people, like I said, who were beta testers had that problem. They're like, it'll never last. But I mean, like I said, if you were to play a game like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV, there's not like that. Like the whole community doesn't just say no way. Like $15 a month is way too much. Like you barely find anyone online who complains about like the subscription fee for Final Fantasy XIV. Like people just because I think they understand you're getting so much quality out of it. But I can understand where Ryan's coming from, saying that like console players just aren't used to that kind of mechanic having.
It's like a foreign thing, and you can't really trust. You're not willing to accept it. But I mean, I just look at it like I couldn't tell you how many hours I've played so far of Final Fantasy XIV, but I'm having a blast with my my Lancer, my DPS class. But I very much want to try another like a healer, or eventually when I can get to that I'm able to access Heavensward. I am very excited to play as a Dark Knight, and that might be a very different play style, and it's a new way to play, and it changes things up from that Lancer class, and it's refreshing. I'm like, oh, I'm excited to play this game because of this class, and I'll take things differently. And it's just I'm still playing it. I'm still playing that same game, just in a different way, and it's more time invested into it.
Yeah, and that that just kind of shows, like I said with Elder Scrolls Online, people were just like, there's not enough content here. Like, all the classes were the same. Everything just felt the same. Everything was really... the combat was really weird for an MMO. And, like, everyone knew it wasn't going to last. But, like you said, there's so much variety in this game. You could play the game 6 or 7 times and play different classes in completely different ways. And, like I said, I don't know. I think we got kind of way out there, but yeah.
We fit at home.
14, yeah.
Yeah, go play it, please. It's so good.
Join our group.
Well, anyways, there's something on the horizon. It looks like a storm is approaching. Okay. In fact, it's the news storm.
Uh-oh.
Boom!
Boom. Oh, we don't have the... Is that... the plane go down?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
It's Godzilla just crashing.
Oh.
Anyways, first story is that Telltale's Game of Thrones is getting a second season. How about that? So, whenever my tabs want to load...
Is anyone surprised by this?
No.
Either of you? Okay. Yeah.
Not at all.
No.
Whenever my...
I thought there was more than one season already. I didn't know that was... So that just goes to show how much I know.
Game of Thrones, a Telltale series. This is from Polygon. Game of Thrones, a Telltale game series, will continue with the second season, and it's already in development. Telltale confirmed today to The Hollywood Reporter. Quote, this is from Kevin Bruner, co-founder and CEO of Telltale Games, with an interview with the aforementioned Hollywood Reporter. Quote, when we initially announced the series in 2013, we let everyone know that this would be a multi-title, multi-year partnership with HBO. And after this week's finale, I'm pleased to officially confirm that there will be a second season of Telltale's Game of Thrones series, and that's currently in development. He also added that a second season was kind of, the plan from the get-go, and, it's just Telltale doing another series, and
so,
it's been successful, so why not?
Are there multiple branches of Telltale that do different series, or is it just one studio that does it all?
Like a studio, you mean?
Well, yeah, but does Telltale, like the company or the studio or whatever, do they do, like, does that one company do Minecraft and Walking Dead and, like all of that, like Back to the Future and Game of Thrones? Like, do they all do that, or do they have different branches that do that? Do you know?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised if it were one team, based on the release schedule, because like it's 1 month it's Tales from the Borderlands, and then 6
because
months
it
down the
seems
road
like this.
it's something else.
Yeah, it seems like this news is coming out kind of near the. I think they're at like episode 3 for Minecraft, the Minecraft
Yeah,
story.
I
So,
haven't been following that, but yeah, they're well into that already.
yeah, so that makes sense if they do the whole 5 series or 5 episode season, or whatever they do. So
If it is one team, I'm a bit surprised that they're already in development of Game of Thrones in that respect, because we've still got Walking Dead 3 to come.
yeah,
We've got
Yeah, and then they have, I think there's the Michonne. I'm not sure how much time that would take. There's like the Michonne prequel, from I guess the TV show and maybe the comics. I'm not too familiar with The Walking Dead, but they're working on that space. And I think there's a super show they're supposed to be working on. I think with Lionsgate. That's kind of molds together, kind of bridges the gap between like interactive entertainment and TV shows. But I don't know when that's supposed to come into development or anything. I mean,
yeah, I've heard they're doing a deal with Marvel in the future, and also
yeah,
and The Wolf Among Us. That needs a sequel, and
yes,
have gone quiet on that front.
oh my goodness, it's so good.
I could. Did someone say something about Back to the Future? They're going to do more with that, or was that a one-time deal?
They made the remake, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they're
Oh, okay.
for that for current gen consoles.
That's cool.
I think partially just in celebration of the 30th birthday of the first
Yeah.
movie, which it works well. I haven't played it yet, but I've heard good things, and it seemed to kind of rekindle popularity because it was timely with anniversary. DJ Rich says Game of Thrones is amazing. I am so excited for the second season, and he believes it's one studio that does it all. I mean, that'd be impressive as heck if it's just one studio, because they have a lot of their plate. Like you said, Ryan, Walking Dead season 3, which I'm very excited for. Tales from the Borderlands seemed to be a success, and now they're
I
doing
forgot about that too.
Game of Thrones season 2. There's a in Minecraft right now. I mean, there's a lot going on with them, and what I appreciate is, for one thing, they have a number of different series that can cater to different people. If you're into Game of Thrones, that's right up your alley. If you're into Minecraft, that's right up your alley. And all the series seem to have that consistency in terms of writing and storytelling, which I am impressed by. If it is one team doing all of that, because I think the writing, the storytelling, the characters, and the choices, it's all done really well, and that's why I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones and all these Telltale series.
Yeah, Telltale have got to be one of my favourite studios right now. It's actually quite interesting to try and predict which license they'll do next. Did we do a feature on it recently? I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I think Liam, I'm not positive, I believe he has written something about series he would like to see get the Telltale treatment.
Yeah, because I think you mentioned Harry Potter.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. Because I think he wrote it, after the announcement of the rumor or whatever of the Marvel collaboration, or that they got the property for that. I would double check with Liam on that one, but I'm almost positive that he wrote something about that, the top 5 properties he wants to see in Telltale form.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they release next. And the Marvel one will be very interesting as well, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So the next story, Cody, I hate to break this to you.
Mm-hmm.
There will not be a Mother 4.
I hate to break it to you, Brett, but I'm pretty. I believe I've said this in the chat like months ago. I think Jason was talking about it. But the way Mother 3 ends is pretty. It was meant to be a trilogy, and the way Mother 3 ends, it's pretty obvious that there wasn't going to be another game, in my opinion. I don't know. So.
Mother 4, the Mother series, famous for Earthbound, Mother 3, obviously Mother 1. The series creator, Shigesato Itoi, has confirmed, in an interview with the Japanese gaming site Game Watch, that he has no plans on working on another game. He said, quote, among big-time pop stars, if they, put out 10 albums or on the fourth album, they can't make very good songs. The albums sell, but everyone at the concert wants to hear songs from those first 3 albums everywhere. He said, in the interest of ending the series on a high note, Itoy has no plans to return to the franchise, confirming that a sequel would be impossible.
Yeah.
And I believe he just, I think he was saying how he doesn't think if he were to make Mother 4, it just wouldn't have that quality that 3 and Earthbound had, which I could totally understand because there's, it's a beloved series and for good reason. So he's probably a lot of pressure to try and surpass Earthbound or Mother 3.
I think it was a good decision. Like, one of the things I hate seeing in the game industry is trying to squeeze every single penny out of a franchise. And for example, Naughty Dog are very famous for not if people do 3 or 4 games and then they'll quit, they'll move on to the next project. And I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I guess I kind of contradict myself with like Final Fantasy, just 15 games and then
That's true.
a multitude of spin-offs. But I can understand. I would hate to see a game just milked for money, and it lacks the quality that it once had, or just the quality suffers because they want to make money. I've never played Earthbound or Mother 3 or Mother 1 for that matter, but I would like to play them now, just to experience them. And Mother 3 could be coming westward via the Wii U eShop, but we'll see when that happens, if it does. Up next, similar to Final Fantasy XIV's Refer a Friend, Destiny now has a Refer a Friend system.
I don't understand this.
So it's now live, and you get some exclusive rewards for doing this. And you can get some shaders, emblems, emotes, a sparrow, and potentially legendary swords. These, if you refer friends, for playing Destiny, I believe it has to be, both players have to be playing on the same platform, and it's only supportable on the Xbox One or PS4. So if you refer a friend to play an Xbox One and you have PS4, you're not going to get the rewards for referring that friend. You can get these rewards through a new quest called the Hunt for Loot, and the first obviously requires to refer the friend to the game, and some of the items are called Infinite Link, it's a shader, Sign of the Infinite, an emblem, Elemental Kin Blades, there are 3 legendary swords, and they're obviously one for each for Void, Solar, and Arc, and it's live, and if you want to get somebody into Destiny, you'll get rewarded for it. So, at least on PS4 and Xbox One. I mean, I
don't understand.
We'll see.
I don't understand.
How well did Taken...
Go ahead.
Sorry, do you go?
No, I'm going to go into a rant, so you might want to just...
I was just going to say how well did Taken King do, because this seems like a huge stunt to try and get more people playing it.
It was definitely received well. I'm not positive in sales. I do believe, not 100%, that it was in the last month's NPD reports.
Yeah, it was.
It might have been the top 10 selling games. But it was definitely a big initiative to get people back in with new content, and just to get new players in entirely, or to draw in year one players who kind of lost interest as the game was going out.
I think that's the issue. Is the game is not dead, but there's no new content.
Yeah,
they were talking about having these quests that were gonna pop up throughout the year or whatever.
Free DLC quests.
That never happened, as far as I know. All they added was, pay to win dances and and wave emotes.
If you do these dances, you win Crucible.
Yeah, and I don't understand. The game's been out for a year and a half. No, a little bit over a year.
Yeah, a little over a year.
And and they're trying to get you're like, if you have a friend, I think they would have already gotten it by now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just...
Like
I mean, I think they're hitting a very small audience, and it sucks, too, because, I mean, like, hey, I want a new Sparrow, I want a new sword, but all of my friends right now have it. So who do I recruit? I
and it's tough to recruit someone who, jumped ship early on, and
and then to get him back
Dylan, one of our staff members often speaks that it was very redundant for him, and he quickly lost interest. And I feel like no matter how much I tried, to convince him to come back, there's so much more content. Well, if you weren't interested in the game before.
Yeah.
Why would you want to come back now?
I think everyone who's in is in. Everyone who wants to be in. I think this is a weird. And I mean, I doubt they're losing money on this at all. I mean, they're just trying to do something to get more people to play again. Because obviously, after hard mode came out for King's Fall, what has there been really? So I mean, and that was almost like a month and a half ago, probably 2 months ago, if not longer. I don't remember, but like, there just hasn't been anything new, and I'm assuming that's why they're doing this, because there's always that aspect of like, oh man, there's this Sparrow that I don't have that I want, or this sword that I don't have that I want, but there just hasn't been anything new.
You have to consider. You have to consider Battlefront coming out now as well. I guess that's a huge multiplayer game. Maybe people are moving on to that.
Yeah, Destiny's, still one of my favorite games, but I played my second character somewhat extensively. I got him almost ready. I was like, this is great. And then, Fallout came out, and, Battlefront's out, and all these other games. I started getting to Final Fantasy, and I just, eventually, like, it's just one of those things, like, I'm taking a break from Destiny, and maybe I'll come back to it, way down the road when there's more content, but I think my biggest problem, with Dark Below and House of Wolves is, like, for a couple of weeks, it was very fun to play, new Raid or Prison of Elders, it was great, and then it just started getting redundant, and it's like, it's a little more content, but that's not going to last me, 3+ months, and The Taken King had that problem. And there was even more content in that, but I played so much of it, so quickly, and I'm like, I've had my fill with Destiny. But
so Twitch viewer, this isn't right. I don't think it's $70 to get back in, like, completely.
No,
they have a bundle.
There's a legendary edition. So we have a multiple comments. Deidre says he jumped ship early. He might jump back in it. Michael says he enjoyed the Taken King quite a bit. I believe the Legendary Edition comes with the first 2 DLC packs and the Taken King.
Yeah.
So if you haven't even touched Destiny at all, for $60, it's a solid investment.
Yeah. I don't know. There was always something about Destiny that was like, during year 1, it was always like, oh, someone's finding a new exotic, or they were constantly. I know there was 2 DLC packs that came out for like $25 or whatever each, but they were more spread out. Like Taken King was like a burst of fun for like 3 months, and then it's like I have no reason to even look up what Xur's selling, because I've actually lost interest. There was always something like keeping me interested, but not keeping me playing during year 1. Like, I didn't get the Crota DLC for a while, because I don't know, I just wasn't interested. And but there was always like someone's like, oh man, I just did the new raid and it's so fun. I'm like, yeah, like what's going on? And and it's like, oh, I found out there's a new exotic. I was like, yeah, well, what's that? But right now it's like there's no talk. There's no.
It's a big lull.
Yeah. There's like, I wouldn't recruit a friend even if I had one, honestly, because I don't really have it. I don't even really care to get back into it right now, because it's dead right now as far as I'm concerned. If you've done everything, it's dead. Oh
yeah, I mean we ran the raid 3-4 times, and don't get me wrong, the raid's fantastic, but
there's just no end game. There's no post game.
and the loot, like, loot's definitely been better since Taken King, just, through patches, but, whenever you would fight, like, a big boss during a raid, and I'd get, materials and not get a gun or a chest, like an armor piece, I'm like, why am I doing this? What's the point? Like, I don't need these items. I want that cool shotgun or that awesome looking helmet or something.
Michael said his PS4 got hit by lightning. True story.
Oh
It
boy!
was hit by. Were you like running in from outside and you were holding it above your head?
I think I heard the story. I think it was his Taking King or Destiny White PS4. I'm not. Correct me if I'm
That
wrong.
one got struck by lightning.
I'm not sure, Michael. Just leave a comment which PS4 got hit by lightning.
That's a literal game bolt, really, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Please. I didn't know Jason was on this podcast.
You'd be so proud.
He would be. I'll have to let him know.
He said he left it at his dad's house, and lightning struck and just conveniently hit that PS4 and kind of just destroyed it. But that was long PS4. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well,
That's
sorry to
fine.
hear that. Yeah, I mean, as long as you still have that awesome looking Destiny Taking PS4, you're good to go. I had the Batman one and the new Destiny one, and we'll probably have the Battlefront one too. Don't be surprised. Kid has like 17 PS4s.
Mike, the man of many consoles.
Hey, anyone want the Xbox One?
Yeah.
What are you asking for it? Anyways, up next we have a game delay. This was last week. So Deus Ex: Mankind Divided has been delayed from February 23rd to now August 23rd. An update to the series' official website has the news. This is from Eidos Montreal, head of the studio, David and Fossey. Quote, as we are now playing through the game in full, we can see that it will require more time in post-production for tuning, iterations, and refinement to meet our high standards.
Can you imagine how that probably went? Like, they probably had the game in trucks and stuff, and they're like, guys, this game's coming out next year. Let's all sit in the lobby and play it together. And they're playing it, and whatever the main character's name, falls through the floor, and they're like, oh, fuck, guys, this isn't gonna work. Put the trucks back in the bay. We gotta sort this out.
I mean, Deus Ex is a popular franchise, and I'm fine with them delaying it. For fine tuning. I mean, it sounds like it's for the most part it's done. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but announcing a game, it's coming out this day, February 23rd, and then 4 or 3 months beforehand, all right, we're going to delay.
It seems to be the norm now.
Yeah, just don't even worry about announcing it. Just maybe even announce it. Don't give us a release date. All right, it's coming out August 23rd.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
20 months.
Yeah.
I think game developers are just under too much pressure now to get information out for people. But if you look at Fallout 4, that was the biggest shock of E3. Not the fact that Fallout 4 was coming out, but the fact it was coming out this year.
Oh yeah.
And the amount of hype was built around that. The release was so soon to the release date. So maybe studios should start doing that because it does actually help them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course I'm fine with the delay, but it's natural. It's a normal thing in the industry. But I'm just don't give us a release date. Oh, just kidding. 6 months later you'll get it.
Now, DG Riff claims, to be honest, I love delays. I'd rather play a masterpiece later than a POS broken game earlier.
I completely agree with that.
Is that always true, though?
Oh, not always.
Yeah,
Well,
I like Batman Arkham Asylum, or not Arkham Asylum. What was the last one? Yeah, Arkham Knight. That came out, and that was delayed. And I don't know if that delay really helped at all.
No, I haven't touched it since I beat it.
Wasn't Witcher 3 delayed as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
The Witcher 3 was. I mean, that makes sense though, because that's a very good game, and
Exactly.
it's a massive world. So you got to make sure that game is polished. And Fallout, they announced their release date in June at E3, and it's coming out in November, and there's an extra 4 months just to polish the game. Like, I'm fine with that because the game was essentially done. Just to make tweaks and make sure it's better.
Yeah. My only thing is just when there's a delay, that doesn't always mean that the game will be, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, there's a delay, they're fixing everything. And no, that's not how it works.
Are they, though? I mean...
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously it's probably better off than it was before the delay, but I'm just saying, normally a lot of people have that mindset. It's like, oh, there's a delay. That's great, because now it's going to be even better. But that's not always the case. But I understand, you know what I mean?
I mean, Deus Ex is a big deal to people, so...
Yeah.
And, I think Human Revolution was received well, if I recall correctly. I haven't played it, but Mankind Divided seems like a game I want to play in August. So I trust. Is it Square Enix doing it?
I think they publish it.
Okay, they publish it. So yeah, Eidos Montreal. Yeah. I'll give them the time to do this because it seems to be like a very ambitious RPG, and just you gotta make sure it runs well.
At least they've got a new release date. Like, if, for example, Zelda and Wii U still hasn't got an official release date.
2016.
Yeah.
Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. Who knows when we're getting that?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think we even got a release date for that one though, so that's not fair to talk about that one like that.
Well,
anyways, the last story is there is DLC coming to Rock Band 4.
now this is the big one. Is anyone surprised with this? I don't think anyone should be surprised.
Harmonix has announced that the Van Halen Hits Pack 1 is coming to Rock Band tomorrow.
Oh my god! When was this? Was this yesterday? So is that out today?
It's done today.
Oh no! Okay, yeah, it's on Tuesday. Oh my god. Ryan, do you like yourself some Van Halen? What do they play over there?
I ain't talking about love. Damn.
Don't really listen to that much, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Oh my god, Ryan, what are you doing?
I don't know. Too busy with my, what do you call them now? Toads and Holes?
Toads and Holes, yeah.
Anyways, PS4 users in Europe will have to wait an extra couple of days. I'm sorry.
Shoot.
I know you're dying to get the deal.
Yeah, it's not like they're like Van Halen or anything. I mean, God.
It is $10.
I'm sure they got their Beatles pack pretty early, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, sign me up for that one. $10 for all the tracks, or you can purchase individual songs for $2 each. The songs include Ain't Talking About Love, Hot for Teacher, and Cradle Will Rock, Dance the Night Away, Running with the Devil, and Unchained. No Panama! What gives?
Man, screw Panama. I'm surprised did they put Jump in there?
No.
I think Panama's already on the game though. I think it's already on the store. That sounds familiar.
It's labeled as Van Halen Hits Pack 1. So
okay.
It could very well be Van Halen Hits Pack 2 with, Panama or Jump, or I don't know if Eruption would really work. Because it's really just a solo, but
that'd be crazy.
Oh god, I think it was in. Never mind. I thought it was in like Rock Band 2 or something. I don't think it was. I think it was like a custom made song. But man,
I'm gonna have to listen to Van Halen after this. I don't know why. Oh man, you said "In the Cradle Will Rock," and that's like my favorite Van Halen song.
I'm a big fan of Panama.
Oh boy, Ryan, I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Rock 101 with Brett and Cody.
Yeah. We're gonna DJ a radio station on our Twitch channel here one of these days.
That'd be great.
From 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, if you have any questions, just feel free to leave them in the chat because we are closing up with the new storm. So we will be moving on to mail call. So if you have any questions, just feel free to leave them. Any video game related stuff you want to know about or anything we should discuss, interesting topics. Just lay them out there, and we'll try and answer them. But you can get to mail call later on. So my question for the Would You Rather section is: would you rather play Western RPGs or Japanese RPGs?
Ooh.
Now, there's a lot of technicalities in this.
Yeah, I didn't think about the question itself. I was like,
Well, I mean, if you were to just ask me this and say what's the first thing that comes to your head, it'd be Japanese RPGs. Like that'd be the first thing that popped in my head. But like I said, if like technicalities, like if I had to play the Tales series, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I prefer the story-driven, really combat-heavy JRPG style more than like the plot-focused, like mechanic-heavy Western RPGs. If that makes any sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So I just prefer good combat mechanics over like an open world mechanic. You know, like riding a horse around or stealing items in the hub world is kind of like a Western kind of thing, where like like combos in combat and like active time battles and like strategy, weird overhead battle movement turn-based combat is like Japanese things with like really crazy boss battles and stuff like that.
Skya.
Yeah, I prefer that kind of stuff over, like I said, like having like an open world sandboxy kind of thing where you interact with the world in detail and you kind of like mold your own story. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. Ryan, do you have a preference?
Yeah, I'd say I'm Western. I'm the opposite. Like for all the reasons you listed, story. I love story. Well, for example, the recent one, The Witcher. One of my favorite games for a good while because you can just go do you don't have to do the main quest, just doing these side quests, and you can find out your own little story. And a lot of I think found with Western RPGs, they're not that faithful to RPG. They sometimes blur into other genres. Like for example, Fallout. It's very much a shooter as well as an RPG, and I love the combinations of different genres switching together. It just makes it a bit more interesting for me. So.
That's fair. I mean, The Witcher 3 would probably be my game of the year if it didn't have Roach. So, gosh, I hate Roach. But Western RPGs are fantastic. You know, big fan of Mass Effect, Fallout, Dragon Age, all that stuff. But I've grown up with Japanese RPGs, and they're still my preferred version of the RPG. I love just the wackiness to them, just over the top, like these crazy, unrealistic, fantastical stories that just are told in these weird boss battles.
I guess when it comes to story, when you kind of compare Western to Japanese, it's kind of more like a Western create your own, or Japanese you're kind of led on a path and you just kind of experience a story as you play. But like Western, you kind of like, normally you have like karma systems, or you kind of like talk to the people you want to talk to, and there's like multiple branching pathways. But JRPGs normally have that like that story-driven sense where everything leads to one final like climax with the crazy 5-tier stage boss. But I kind of like that aspect more than having, I guess, free will. I prefer to just kind of be railroaded. Not like 13. That's a completely different railroad.
Straight hallways for 40 hours.
Yeah.
And then it opens up. Well, what happened here?
Yeah, this is just the tutorial, guys. we weren't sure if you were ready for open world, so here we go. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's give it a shot. I don't know if you guys can handle it. I don't think you've ever played Final Fantasy before. I don't think you can handle this.
Yeah. Guys.
So we have 2 questions from YouTube. Do you think Metal Gear Solid 5 will get any campaign DLC? Wasn't something cut from the story that they're packing in as DLC?
Probably.
I think
that doesn't surprise me.
It had to do with a collector's edition or something where like a sizable chunk was cut, and now it's a DLC plan.
Kojima was like, "Oh man, this doesn't make sense. We can add it in as DLC." So
really, Kojima?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense in Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, like Metal Gear Solid 2.
Fire.
Yeah, if you had 5 DLC packs, it might have actually made sense. But you know, those are early days.
You say you're basically just redoing Metal Gear Solid 1 in
Yeah.
terms in Metal Gear Solid 2, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's that clear.
Yeah.
And then, lastly, this isn't right. Ask: is Bloodborne and the Souls series, are they considered RPGs?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, you're leveling up, you're earning experience, and you know you're progressing, and there's a interesting world with
It's
secrets and characters and stuff.
it's a weird thing because you know, like RPG stands for role playing game,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, in reality, a lot of games have you playing the
Technically,
role of
no.
yeah, you play the role of whoever, or you play the role of a whatever.
Yeah, if you're going to be technically, it's it's a fair argument.
Yeah. So I mean, in reality, I mean, you're playing the role of, you know, like a hunter in Bloodborne, or you're playing the role of, you know, it's a weird thing when it comes to like labeling a game an RPG. Because like I said, you're playing the role of something. So I'm not sure if there's a more defined term within the title RPG. I'm not sure, but I would say they're RPGs. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So, viewers, that is going to wrap up episode 38 of the Game Bolt podcast. And as always, be sure to check out thegamebolt.com, where we are posting reviews and features. Often, you can check out Grant's Rise of the Tomb Raider review, which went up a few days ago. And earlier today, I posted my Fallout 4 review. Ryan's going to be coming in with his Battlefront review coming next couple of days or so.
Yep.
And,
Cody does nothing.
and Cody just handles Twitch and
Yeah.
talks about One Piece and stuff.
We have videos going up every day to YouTube. Twitch highlights mostly. We are getting we have a few new guys who seem like they're interested in Twitch and video content, so check out youtube.com/c/the Game Bolt channel, which if you're watching this on YouTube, you're already there. Congratulations. Click on our videos and check them out, see what you got. Like I said, we try and upload every day. We haven't missed a day for like a month, so I probably just jinxed it, which is scary. But especially with the holidays coming up, but
Oh yeah,
we'll get
sure.
content up. So yeah, that's what I do behind the scenes. Ooh.
Ooh. Talk about that in our rock podcast.
Yeah. Mike says can consist of ABBA and Taylor Swift. I don't know if you know what rock is, Mike.
Please.
Yeah. Anyway,
Taylor Swift is fantastic, but she is not quite rock.
let's not add another 20 minutes to this, Brett.
Anyways, as always, if you have any topics, things worth discussing, feel free to tweet at our Game Bolt account, or maybe, tweet at Grant, Cody, somebody from the staff and say, you guys should talk about this on the show. And, if we get it, we'll try and talk about it and fit it into the mail call section. And like always, like I said before, the Game Bolt podcast posts on iTunes every Tuesday and YouTube every Wednesday. And you can follow the account on Twitter at @the_GameBolt. And you can also find the three of us on Twitter. Ryan, where can we find you?
That's Ryan AJ13.
There you go, Ryan AJ13. And Cody, where can we find you?
At Brett Woodman C. BRE. At White Vader YDOCVADER.
There you go. And you can find me at Brett Woodmansey.
Dude, that's my Twitter handle. What are you doing?
I need it too. I'm sorry.
Okay.
WOODMANSEE. Thank you so much for stopping by, guys. You guys have an awesome day. Also, have an awesome Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. You guys are just awesome.
You guys are awesome. Let's leave it. Yeah.
Take care.